It's a bit odd that the Samsung's foldable line now has slightly better CPUs than its S22 flagship line. But such is the world of silicon and smartphone timing. We are happy that the Galaxy Z Fold 4 has the Qualcomm's top-of-the-line Snapdragon 8 Plus Generation 1 CPU, as it needs all the power it can get given the multitasking gymnastics it's capable of. Geekbench 5 benchmarks bear out the new CPU's somewhat snappier performance compared to the 8 Generation 1. It's not a huge difference, but it feels to us that the phone's ability to edit 8K 60 FPS video at once in Adobe Premiere Rush speaks to that kick, and it doesn't hurt that the Samsung has backed up the chip with 12 GB of RAM. The raw numbers still don't beat Apple's A15 Bionic, but that's immaterial. There's more than enough power on tap here for all your cover and main screen tests. Samsung does an excellent job of integrating its key One UI feature and apps into Fold experience, while still keeping this out of the way of the stock Android Google apps you really want. But we are particularly impressed with the effortless handoff between the cover screen and the main flexible display. The phone swaps screens instantly, so you can move the same app between the main and cover displays without waiting for it to reload. It can work like a normal phone with the cover screen, a tablet with the main screen, or something in between if you fold the screen to a 90-degree angle. The Galaxy Z Fold 4 knows if it's bent at a 90-degree angle, and if you are in an app like Word, puts the split keyboard on the bottom half of the display. It's not a perfect experience since the tapping in the crease is best avoided, but it works. It's not unlike using a very small Android laptop. The app dock not only lets you drag and drop apps and keep ones you use often in the dock, but it can remember app groups and let you instantly access and reopen them with a tap. Very smart. The Galaxy Z Fold 4 supports Samsung's S Pen, but not just any S Pen. When we tested the S22 Ultra S Pen and tapped it on the screen, the Z Fold 4 recognized it instantly, but then popped up a rather scary message that said you can only use S Pen specifically designed for the Z Fold screen. We did not have one of those lying around to test with. We spent a very busy day with Galaxy Z Fold 4, doing everything from video conference calls to word processing, playing games, editing video, watching Netflix shows, and sometimes doing all of these things at once. We also watched as the battery life drained, perhaps a little faster than expected. At 4400 mAh, this isn't a tiny battery, but it does have to do the work of powering two screens, though not simultaneously. The battery lasted approximately 13 hours, which is pretty good, though we would have liked to have seen more. Still, getting that far is probably a testament to the 8 Plus Generation 1's power management capabilities. The phone supports fast, wired and wireless charging, and at one point we added back 30% of power in just 15 minutes using a Samsung 65-watt grand charger, which is not included. The phone can also perform wireless power sharing duties. However, I could only get that to work with the Samsung Galaxy Buds 2 Pro case and not with the Galaxy S22. Let's not forget that this is a 5G phone. Our model was running on T-Mobile's network in the US, which has the pretty good 5G coverage, but the speed was as you would expect all over the map. Still, it was good enough to stream HD quality Netflix on my train ride home. Samsung clearly believes it has a pretty good foundational structure for its premier folding device, and that's why the Z Fold 4 isn't radically different from the Galaxy Z Fold 3. That said, there are actually lots of small build and design differences, some of which you can plainly see while others are hidden beneath the frame. Folded, the device is still 67.1mm wide, but the shape of the product has changed so that from certain angles the hinge is less noticeable. The handset is 155.1mm long, which is almost 3mm shorter than the Z Fold 3. This gives the device a more conventional phone shape rather than the odd-looking oblong shape of previous folds. More importantly, this is now a thinner and lighter device. Instead of the Galaxy Z Fold 3's 6.4mm thickness when unfolded, the table mode is now just 6.3mm thick. That's not a huge difference, but it also brings the weight down to 263 grams, 8 grams lighter than the Galaxy Z Fold 3. The buttons or ports are standard fare for a smartphone, but the folding design does mean the placement isn't typical. There is the SIM slot along the top edge, speaker and mic holes along one edge, a speaker grill, mic hole and USB-C port along the bottom, and on the other edge a volume rocker and power and sleep button that doubles as your fingerprint sensors, which happens to work quite nicely. I registered multiple fingers. The phone also supports Face ID biometrics, but you are warned that it's less secure than other methods. When folded, the Galaxy Z Fold 4 can feel a little thick and heavy in the hand compared to most other Android handsets. It's not uncomfortable though. Unfolded, this is a thin and light tablet. The main noticeable difference between it and, say, an iPad mini is that the bezel surrounding the screen has a tiny raised lip to keep the bendable screen covering in place and protected. The re-engineered hinge is a real highlight here. No longer does it stick out from the side of the phone when folded. Instead, it's hugging the frame thanks to a new hinge design that jettisoned the gears in favor of a flatter mechanical design. It looks great, and at least in the time we have been using this phone, it works smoothly. As you are bending the phone, it feels solid yet pliant, as if to reassure you, yes, this is what you are supposed to do with me. The frame is IPX8 rated, which means it will survive 30 minutes in 1 meter of water, but due to the hinge mechanics, it's not dust resistant. That's all for today. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, feel free to share it to friends and keep watching Best Buy to get your top-notch day-to-day commodities.